Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. We've seen the animus directed at Caitlin Clark all year. Ever be the biggest star in American sports was assaulted 2 minutes into the game on a dirty play with one of these women with these long fake fingernails that stabbed her in the eye. But damn it, in the first 2 minutes of this game, this Dijonai Carrington stabbed Caitlin Clark with her fingernails right in the eye.
The WNBA's got a problem, and it's not just black and white, it's black and blue. Caitlin Clark's eye, that is. This isn't just about one missed call, it's about the future of the league. Are you ready to see how deep this rabbit hole goes? Picture this, Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation, is lighting up the court. She's on fire, making plays left and right. Then boom, out of nowhere, Dijonai Carrington's hand swings in, and Clark takes a finger straight to the eye. Ouch. You'd think the refs would be all over that, right? They didn't even blink. Fans went crazy. Social media exploded. People were posting videos, screenshots, you name it. Everyone was asking the same thing. How did the refs miss that? It's like they were watching a different game or something. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about one eye poke. It's opened up a whole can of worms for the WNBA. Player safety, officiating, maybe even some deeper issues.
The fact that the Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dijonai Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye. Dijonai has a history with Caitlin Clark, like many of these girls in the WNBA, but she's at the top of the list along with Kennedy Carter in Chicago and Angel Reese. That's not a natural act of you contest a shot and then all of a sudden your hand turns downwards and straight into the eye of the biggest star in the WNBA.
The league's got some explaining to do, and we're about to break it all down for you. Now, you might be wondering, is this really such a big deal? Well, picture this, a star player constantly battered on the court while the refs seem to be looking the other way. Sound fair to you? Clark's eye poke isn't just an incident, it's a symptom of a much bigger problem. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark's rookie season. It's been like watching a highlight reel on repeat, but with a twist. This girl's been making plays that'll make your head spin, dishing out assists like they're going out of style. But here's the kicker. While she's busy setting up her teammates, it seems like someone forgot to set up some protection for her. All season long, Clark's been facing some seriously tough defense. We're not talking about your typical hands up, stay in front kind of D. No, we're talking about the kind of physical play that makes you wince just watching it. And guess who's been at the forefront of this Clark-stopping crusade? None other than Dijonai Carrington. Remember that game where Carrington mocked Clark for supposedly exaggerating a foul? That wasn't just trash talk, that was the start of a rivalry that's been heating up faster than a microwave burrito. But here's the thing, while Carrington's been playing tough, the refs have been playing, well, we're not sure what game they've been watching. Clark's been vocal about it too. She's not just asking for calls, she's asking for respect, for equality. And when a rookie's brave enough to speak up about racial dynamics and player treatment in the league, you know something's gotta give. Now, let's break down some numbers. Clark led the league with 337 assists this season. That's insane. But here's the flip side. She also had a high turnover rate. What does that tell us? It means she's making plays, sure, but she's also facing some serious heat from defenders. And that's where things get messy. Fans and analysts have been raising eyebrows at the officiating all season. It's like there's some kind of bias against Clark when it comes to foul calls. 1 minute she's getting knocked around like a pinball, and the next, the refs are acting like they left their whistles in the locker room. This isn't just about Clark though, it's about player safety across the board. Fans are losing it over the lack of penalties for dangerous plays. I mean, come on, an eye poke with no call? That's not just missing a travel or a 3-second violation.
With no whistle. Now there's nothing Indiana.
That's potentially career-altering stuff we're talking about. So, what's the deal? Is it just bad luck? Nah, the stats don't lie. When you've got a player leading the league in assists but also getting beaten up on the regular, something's not adding up. Experts are starting to wonder if there's a systemic issue in how star players like Clark are officiated. Think about it. If the league's brightest new star is getting roughed up with no consequences, what message does that send? It's like putting a "kick me" sign on the back of every rookie who dares to shake things up. So what's really going on with the ref? You'd think they'd be all over protecting the league's rising stars. But there's a twist to this story that nobody's talking about, and it's got everything to do with what happens behind the scenes. Let's break down how WNBA officiating actually works. You've got a team of refs on the court, right? They're supposed to be the eyes and ears of fair play. But here's the kicker, they're only human. And in a game that moves faster than a New York minute, sometimes even the sharpest eyes can miss a beat. Now you might be thinking, can't they just replay it? Well, here's where things get tricky. In the WNBA, not every play is up for review.
Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game? Thanks.
Obviously, a tough time for that to happen. I got some really good looks. I felt I had three pretty wide open threes in the first half. Overall, Coach said in the locker room, we were down 3 the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. We were right there, and I felt like we just played a crappy game.
That eye poke on Caitlin Clark? It falls into a blind spot in the rulebook. No instant replay, no coach's challenge, nada. Once the refs miss it, it's like it never happened. But let's talk about what the refs are up against. Imagine trying to keep track of 10 players, all moving at top speed, while making split-second decisions that could change the game. It's like trying to count raindrops in a thunderstorm. The positioning of the refs, the speed of the game, it all adds up to a perfect storm where calls can slip through the crack. And here's something that'll blow your mind. The faster the game gets, the harder it is to officiate. The WNBA's been evolving, with players like Clark pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the court. But the officiating, it's struggling to keep up. It's like trying to referee a game of chess while the pieces are moving at the speed of light. Now, you might be wondering, why don't they just add more refs? Or why not use more technology? Good questions, but it's not that simple. Every change to the officiating process is like pulling on a thread. It could unravel the whole sweater if you're not careful. Here's where it gets really interesting. Fans and experts are starting to notice a pattern. It's not just about missed calls, it's about how those calls, or non-calls, are affecting the game. When star players like Clark are getting roughed up without consequences, it changes how the game is played. It's like the refs are accidentally rewriting the rulebook with every whistle they don't blow. But hold on, because this is where things get really wild. The debate over this missed call, it's not just about one eye poke. It's sparking a whole conversation about how the WNBA handles player safety and fair play.
I felt like my shot felt right there. That's why it's so frustrating as a shooter, when it feels so good, but it won't go down for you. That's what sucks about it, but like I said, I'm proud of our team. We didn't shoot the ball like we're capable of, but even that to the side, we're capable of winning this game without making shots. Our defense could have been a little bit better. We're capable of winning this game without making shots. Our defense could have been a little bit better. Obviously Marina gets hot and she's a really good player, but we were down 8 or something, maybe 11 going into the fourth. We had our chances. I felt like I said, we didn't play well. We didn't play to the level that we're capable of playing.
We're talking potential reforms, people. The kind of changes that could reshape the league as we know it. So, what's the takeaway here? The refs aren't the bad guys. They're caught in the middle of a game that's evolving faster than the rules can keep up. It's a perfect storm of human limitations, outdated systems, and a sport that's pushing the boundaries every single day. With the league pushing boundaries and the refs struggling to keep up, all eyes are on Cathy Engelbert. The WNBA commissioner's next move could be a game changer, but it's not as simple as blowing a whistle. She's walking a tightrope, and one wrong step could send shockwaves through the entire sport. Engelbert's got the weight of the WNBA on her shoulders right now. Fans are going crazy on social media, players are demanding answers, and the media's all over this like white on rice. Everyone wants to know, what's she going to do about this eye poke situation? It's not just about one missed call. This is about the future of the league. Engelbert's got a bunch of options on the table, and none of them are easy. She could come down hard on Carrington, maybe suspend her for a game or two. That might make the Clark fans happy. But what about the rest of the league? Is it fair to punish a player for a ref's mistake? Or maybe she goes after the officiating system itself? Overhaul the whole thing? Bring in more technology? Add more refs? Sounds good, right? But hold up, that's easier said than done. You've got to think about the cost, the training, how it'll change the flow of the game. It's like trying to change the tires on a car while it's still moving. And here's the real kicker. Whatever Engelbert decides, it's going going to set a precedent. We're not just talking about this season, we're talking about the future of the WNBA. If she goes too soft, people might think the league doesn't care about player safety. Go too hard, and she might face pushback from players and officials who think she's overreacting. You know what's crazy? This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about leadership, about making tough calls when the pressure's on. Engelbert's response could make or break the league's integrity. Fans are watching, and they're not just looking for action. They're looking for someone to step up and show them that the WNBA's got its act together. Let's break it down. If Engelbert decides to discipline Carrington, she's sending a message that player safety comes first. That's a win for guys like Clark, who've been taking a beating all season. But here's the flip side. It could open up a whole can of worms. What about all the other missed calls? Are we going to start reviewing every game after the fact? Now, if she goes for the big overhaul, revamping the whole officiating system, that could be a game changer. Imagine instant replays for dangerous plays, more refs on the court, maybe even some high-tech solutions we haven't even thought of yet. It could make the game safer, fairer, maybe even more exciting to watch. But let's be real, change isn't easy. You've got old-school refs who might resist new tech, players who worry about the game slowing down, fans who just want to see some action without a whistle every 5 seconds. It's a balancing act, and Engelbert's the one on the high wire. So what's the smart money on? If I had to bet, I'd say Engelbert's going to lean towards stricter officiating guidelines. We might see some new rules about reviewing certain types of fouls, especially when it comes to player safety. It's a middle ground that could satisfy the safety concerns without completely flipping the table on how the game's played. Think about it. It addresses the immediate problem, shows the leagues taking things seriously, but doesn't require a complete overhaul of the system. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a cut while also starting to eat healthier. You're fixing the immediate issue and working on long-term improvements at the same time. Hold up though. Is a Band-Aid really gonna cut it for a league that's bleeding talent? There's a wild solution on the table that could change the game forever. But here's the kicker. It might make some people real mad. Let's talk about fixing the WNBA's foul problem. Picture this. A game where every call is spot on, players are safe, and fans are on the edge of their seats. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it might be closer than you think. First up, we've got video review. Imagine if refs could take a second look at those tricky plays. No more missed eye pokes, no more debates about who touched the ball last. It's like giving the refs superpower. But here's the thing. It's not just about catching fouls. It's about making sure the right calls are made every single time. Now, you might be thinking, won't that slow down the game? Good question. It might take a little getting used to, but think about it this way. Would you rather have a slightly longer game or watch your favorite players getting roughed up with no consequences? Yeah, I thought so. But video review is just the start. What if we cranked up the foul guideline? I'm talking crystal clear rules about what's a foul and what's not. No more gray areas, no more, oh, I didn't see it excuses. It's like giving the refs a cheat sheet for keeping players safe. Here's where it gets really interesting. These changes, they could totally flip the script on how WNBA games are played. Imagine a game where players can focus on their skills instead of worrying about getting knocked around. We're talking smoother plays, more fluid action, and maybe even higher scores. It's like unleashing the full potential of these incredible athletes. But hold on, because not everyone's going to be on board with this. Some players and teams might think stricter rules will mess with their style. And let's be real, change is scary. There might be some growing pains as everyone adjusts to the new normal. You know what's crazy though? These changes could do more than just prevent eye pokes. We're talking about taking the WNBA to a whole new level. Games could be more competitive, more exciting to watch. Fans might start tuning in just to see how smooth and fair the games are. Think about it. When players feel safe, they play better. When refs have the tools to make the right calls, the game feels fair. And when fans see all of this coming together, that's when you get people talking, sharing highlights, and filling up those seats. But here's the real kicker. This isn't just about making the games better to watch. It's about respect. Respect for the players who put their bodies on the line every game. Respect for the fans who deserve to see the best possible version of the sport they love. And respect for the game itself, pushing it to be the best it can be. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is this really gonna solve everything? Maybe not overnight, but it's a start. It's a way to show that the WNBA is serious about player safety and fair play. And who knows, maybe these changes will inspire other leagues to step up their game too. All right, let's wrap this up. The WNBA's at a crossroads, and you, the fans, are holding the map. This eye poke drama, it's not just about one play. It's about the future of the league we love. You've got the power to shape what happens next. Your voice matters. When you speak up about player safety and fair play, the big wigs have to listen. It's like you're part of the team, calling the shots from the sidelines. So, what's your game plan? Are you gonna sit back and watch, or are you gonna make some noise? The league's waiting to hear from you. Your tweets, your comments, your support, it all adds up. Think about it. What kind of WNBA do you want to see? A league where stars like Clark can shine without fear, or one where every game's a gamble? The ball's in your court now. What's your next move?